Okay, shalom, shalom. It's the brother Kadash. Want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Quadash, right? Scrolling through World Star Hip Hop, I ran across this, right? So, because of copyright reasons, we can't play the video. I used to play the video, man. I used to be lit, but I can't play the video, so I just gotta kind of explain what it was. So, it was a video, and we just look up on these different websites pretty much just to, keep your eye on things that's going on out there. So, it said, okay, I believe that means Oklahoma commissioner caught on leaked audio. So it was a leaked audio. So somebody secretly recorded him or something like that. And this is what he was saying. He said, saying he'll run for sheriff if it was back in the day where you could hang slash, Judite people, but so-called black people. You see what I'm saying? So I watched the video. It's like he was having a conversation with another man. And he was like, the other man was like, yeah, you can't do that anymore. And he was like, yeah, I know. And then he ended the video after he said that. He ended the video with saying, they got more rights than we got today, which is crazy just to even say some dumb shit like that. Cause it's like, how, like, what stats show that so-called black people are getting treated better or have more rights than so-called white people today? Where is that? If anything, it's clearly the opposite way. But this is what they do. This is what Edomites do, man. They play crybaby and they act like they got the worst. It just see. That just goes to prove that they couldn't go through what we went through as a people. Only the transatlantic slave trade and genocide in America and stuff like that, slavery in America, it's only one people on earth that could go through that and make it through that. And that's the people that did it. And that's another little key to knowing that we are the Israelites, because obviously we're being preserved for a reason and the world's about to find out why, when the elect get saved, So they couldn't go through that, but they gonna have to go through it. And we gonna see how they fare. You know what I mean? Because they some fucking crybabies, man. I mean, just if they lose something, just like they rights to have assault weapons, they get to crying. You know what I mean? And then you got sheriffs that's supposed to uphold the law that get to pick and choose what laws they want to uphold. Like here in Illinois, they came up with they said it was a assault weapon ban in all the different counties that had sheriffs. Sent out letters pretty much online on social media, which said that they wasn't going to uphold that law because it infringes on the second constitutional right. But there's many laws that infringes on constitutional rights that they do uphold, like child support. And we know who child support affected in the most negative way out of every group of people here in America. We already know, the stats show it, So they get to pick and choose when they want to uphold the laws, So when this place go down, it's going to be very, very, very hard for him. But yeah, he did say that, He said he'll run for sheriff. And I guess he was some guy affiliated with them. I don't know. Commissioner or whatever. He said he'll run for sheriff if it was back in the day where he could do that to black people. So that's what's in his heart, is that he wants to be able to do whatever he wants to do. You see, that's picking and choosing the law, uphold the law. In your heart, see, if you get people in these high positions that have that in their heart, they're going to oppress black people. Because even though they got to follow the law, they still have this in his heart. And that's what came out during this leaked audio. He said what he had to say. Look, if it was back in the day, I would run for sheriff if it was back in the day where I could do this to these so-called people, man. So it's crazy. I got somebody just pulled up, so let me run out here and figure out. We're going to come back with part 2. Okay, we back. Just to keep going in on it, So that's what's in these Edomites' hearts. They're the wicked, right? And now they're really starting to be exposed, and the world is starting to see that they're the wicked. These other nations that were arms to arms and alliances with America, the big thing now is a lot of them are starting to switch sides to the other side with Russia and China, man. Because they're starting to see this man for the devil he is. But the more he loses his grip on his kingdom and his power, especially here in America, Mystery Babylon, these Edomites over here, the more he gonna show his true colors of the devil he is, man. So we already know this, man. We already know this about these guys. So you talking about a commissioner has power over cities, man, over people. You talking about a sheriff that has power over, that has authority over the cities, man. This is how they feel, and this is what is in their heart, man. But people laugh at us when we say these things and say we're race baiting or using the race card. This is what's in their heart, man. You can never trust your enemy, man. So imagine being a people and having to live under this, and these are the same people, you know, they come from their ancestors that had our ancestors in slavery. Right? So just imagine that. But there's something that's going to happen to them, right? This is Obadiah 1 verse 7. It says, all the men of thy confederacy, so really just talking about their alliances, have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Why? Because he made, and this is happening right now. He made a very, very, very great mistake, man. And it's really like he had no understanding. To not understand, like, America had their alliances, right, based off their money. So what's going on right now? They're getting rid of the American dollar as being the world's reserve currency, man. So that's eating of thy bread, man. These other nations that was allying to America to make money with them. I'll give you one example, Saudi Arabia. Now there's talks about them switching sides, man. So the Lord is taking them down, man, and taking their understanding away from them, man. And people are seeing them and they are being exposed for being the devils they are, man. Matter of fact, let's get a precept for that. How it's going to turn out when these nations that were in alliance with America, you know, when they start turning against her. This is Revelation 17, verse 12. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. That's talking about NATO, man, and the EU nations. It was originally 10, but of course there's nations that split from each other, but they really are still the same, but they split from each other, so there's a lot more now that's a part of the EU nations. And the military side is NATO, man. Right? They receive power with her, right? These have one mind and should give their power and strength to the beast. They come together and they're named what? NATO, that's the beast. They come and put their power in one mind together, man. They make alliances. But this is what's going to happen, just like it said in Obadiah 1. These shall make war with the Lamb. So even though they're one mind, they came together, at some point in time, they're going to make war with the Lamb, right? Because NATO's going to fight against the Lamb. That's when you go to Revelation 12, right? And that's what you're talking about with the dragon and his angels versus, you know, Michael, the archangel, and his angels, right? It says, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is the Lord of lords and the King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. Hopefully that be us. So just like it said, right? Just like it said, what did it say? The Lamb's going to overcome them, bro, and defeat them. You know, but they're going to try to make war. It was like back in the day, there's like a little clip going around with a famous president was saying that they pretty much need a common enemy, and if the world was under attack from like aliens, how they would come together, how we bring the world together. That's what they're trying to do. But let's keep going. It says, and he say unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth are people, multitudes, and nations and tongues. How did the whore, which is America, Mystery Babylon, have power over peoples, nations, multitudes, and tongues? Their money. You had to use their money, man. It says, in the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, so their alliances, NATO, right? It says, these shall hate the whore and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So just like going back to Obadiah 1, they're going to turn on her. And how do one nation burn another nation with fire? Is it a super volcano? No. Is it meteors? Are they directing meteors from space to hit America? No. It's nuclear missiles. That's how one nation burns another nation on fire. Are they throwing, you know, are they coming over here with torches, fire torches? No. So that's how you understand the scriptures, man. So these guys, man, they're gonna have an uproar. The more and more they lose, the more their true colors are gonna come out, man. But a lot of them gonna be sent to the Valley of Jehoshaphat anyways, to die over there. Let's keep going in Obadiah 1. Verse 8. Shall it not in that day, say the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom and the understanding out of Mount Esau? That's what the Lord's doing right now. You can see it. And thy mighty man, O Teman, should be dismayed, to the end that every one out of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. So they feel that way about us, but since they did that to us, and that's in their heart, They gonna be cut off by slaughter. And this is why, verse 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame should cover thee, and thou should be cut off forever. They're gonna be cut off forever because of the violence that they do to the so-called black, the African American, Native American, and the Latinos, which are the 12 tribes, which make up the 12 tribes of Israelites. So they're going to be cut off for doing that, man, forever. So the way they feel, and the way they still feel to this day, that shit's going to come back on them, man. Let's jump down to verse 18. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, in the house of Joseph a flame, in the house of Esau for stumble. So Esau, his house, his America, his home, all that's going to become stumble. It says, and they shall kindle in them and devour them. That's what it means when Jacob should be a fire and Joseph should be a flame. Meaning we're going to be the 12 tribes of Israel, the blacks, Latinos, Native Americans. When the grid goes down, we're going to be trouble for Esau, and what he's going to get is stumble. His shit's going to be trodden down. You seen that like 2020 when George Floyd got when he got took out. You seen that. It was the Israelites were firing and they were tearing up shit in every city, right? It says, and there's even in my city, they was marching downtown. That shit was crazy. It says, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord has spoken it. So this is what the Lord has spoken about Esau, man. This is what's coming to him for what he did and what's in his heart and how he feels about the Esau, by the Israelites. So they could feel that way, but at the end of the day, Jacob gonna kick their ass, man. We gonna get our revenge. And Gad, it says a troop shall overcome him, but roughly paraphrasing, in the end he gonna get his revenge. That's what it's talking about. So the Native Americans, they gonna get their revenge too in the end when the grid goes down. You see that in that movie Purge, the very last one they made, like the Forever Purge or something like that, right? Jeremiah 49 verse 12. For thus saith the Lord, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have surely drunken. And art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it. So just like he said, he wished that he was back in the day where he could do that to black people, right? So that was fulfillment of us drinking of that cup, man, of captivity. But it says they are not going to go unpunished for those things that they did and the way they feel about us. They going to drink of the cup too. So we going to see if they could survive it. It says, for I have sworn by myself, saith the Lord, because Obadiah 1 says that they not going to survive it. We survived it. We still here. Obadiah 1 says that they're not. You see the difference? It says, for I have sworn by myself, saith the Lord, that Bozrah should become a desolation, a reproach, a waste, and a curse, and all the cities thereof should be perpetual waste. Why? Because like Jacob gonna be a flame, Israel gonna be a fire, or vice versa, and America, they gonna destroy it, man. And then ultimately war is gonna destroy it when the other nation that was alliance with America turn on her and shoot missiles on her to burn her with fire. Right? I have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent to the heathen, saying, gather ye together and come against her and rise up to battle. See, their alliance with the other heathen nations are alliance with America, but they're going to be gathered together to go against her. See, that's future prophecy. In Jeremiah 49, we just read it in Revelation 11, even in Obadiah. It says, for lo, I will make these small among the heathen and despised among the men. Now, who is it talking about? Let's get straight to the point. Well, let's not skip verse 16. Thy terribleness has deceived thee, and thy pride of thy heart. That's why they're going to have no understanding, because their pride is blinding them, man. It says, O thou that dwelleth in the cleft of the rocks. It says that in Obadiah 1 too. That holdeth the height of the hill, right? Because they at the top. Though thou should have made thy nest as high as the eagle, right? And what's the symbol of America? An eagle. What a coincidence, right? I will bring thee down from this, saith the Lord. Also Edom, so it's telling you who it's talking about. Edom shall be a desolation. Everyone that goeth by it shall be astonished and shall hiss at the plagues thereof, right? Because what's going to be one of the plagues? Just like Sodom and Gomorrah, the nuclear missiles are going to come down. And everybody's going to say, damn, look what happened to that place. It's going to be a wasteland, desolation. Verse 18, it says, as in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah. See, in the neighboring cities thereof, say the Lord, no man shall abide there, neither shall a son of man dwell in it. This is how you know this is a future prophecy. Because when did Esau get fire and brimstone rain down on him and get destroyed and wiped out just like Sodom and Gomorrah did? That hasn't happened yet. So that means the future prophecy. So that means that who is the Lord coming back to judge? He's coming back to judge all nations. But who is he going to destroy with that fire and brimstone? The Edomites. So that would mean that the Edomites have to be around today, and they have to have a land that they're in control of today, so that the Lord could cause these other nations to shoot fire on her. Just like it happened in Sodom and Gomorrah. It's just that simple, man. Let's go to this last one. Psalms 10 verse 1. Why standest thou off for, O Lord? Why hidest thyself in the time of trouble? The wicked in his pride does persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. See, he imagining that what's on this video. You got to look it up on World Star Hip Hop, and that's the name of it. He's imagining that, but it says, let them, they persecute the poor, man. It says, for the wicked boast of his heart's desire. He got caught on a leak tape boasting of his heart's desire. And blesseth the covetousness who the Lord upholdeth. The wicked, through the pride of his countenance, would not seek after God. God is not in all his thoughts. Then they turn around and call themselves Catholics and Christians. What's Catholic or Christian about that? Saying that you wish that you could run for sheriff back in the day when you were able to do this to people. Right? He say in his heart, I shall not be moved. Well, he says, his ways are always grievous, thy judgments are far above all of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth up at them. So he's telling you who his enemy is, because he wished that he could do this to so-called black people. He say in his heart, I should not be moved, and I should never be in adversity. But what does the prophecy say? That he is. Let me just jump around. Verse 8, he says, he sitteth in the lurking places of the village, in the secret places does he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor. Who does that? Your police. They sit in lurking places, and they wait to pull you over or come raid you. His eyes are against the poor. He lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den, and waiteth to catch the poor. He does catch the poor when he draweth him to his net. What did they do back in the day? They'd wait, set you up, take you, and put you on a tree. You know? So the Lord going, verse 15, break down the arm of the wicked and the evil man, seek out his weakness till thou find none. The Lord's going to break their arm, meaning what? He's going to break their power, man. The Lord is king forever and ever. The heathen are perished out of his land. So even those ones that's in the land, man, that fund a lot of these things, that own the central banks, man, that pay these different sheriffs and police groups, they going to be destroyed too, man, because they play a part in it. You know, so this is prophecy. Prophecy will be fulfilled. With that, I'm going to say salvation to the elect.